Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. The Fox is back. You might have noticed I took one of those hiatuses. Hiatopotamus. Whatever. Life gets busy, but I'm back. I feel like I've said that before. Just because I was gone doesn't mean I haven't been thinking and writing and wondering. One of the wonderful wonderings wandering unwantingly toward me is... Did you ever notice how often we put the blame on one person? In many respects, actually. Examples, you say. Got your back. Imagine you are on a bus and the bus is full of noisy people. As usual. Guy over there is eating way too many hot dogs. That person sounds like they're speaking in tongues. And you're pretty sure that person that looks like they're sleeping probably has been sleeping for too long. Bus driver's been on shift all day. Rush hour. People are careless and cussing. It begins to rain outside. The bus is carrying on loaded with circumstances when the inevitable happens. A tire bursts like a distressed gallbladder. The bus screeches to a halt. A couple fender benders happen. Nobody's seriously injured, but everyone is delayed and dismayed. A theme spreads across the crowd, followed by a finger, which lands on the bus driver more times than not. Person on the bus angry they'll get to work late. Person behind them is late for a reservation, and the person in front of them who got shoved into traffic unwillingly when the bus lurched forward. Even the response team ditching donuts and hot calendar shots. Jokes aside, I love donuts more than any movie cop stereotype, and I think it is quite unfair that they get to have that sweet treat all to themselves. Give my fat face donuts. Let's make a new stereotype. Fat YouTubers like donuts. Maybe I'll start getting them shoved in my face hole a little easier. Anyway, that's a tangent within a tangent. It's tangent inception. That's usually how it is around here, right? If you've been here before, I'm gonna go down a hole all by myself for a while until I decide to pull myself back out. Point I was making earlier is everyone seems to easily attach themselves to the idea that the bus driver is solely at fault. But let's think for just a minute here. This guy's been sitting behind a bus all day. It could have happened at any time. Most bus drivers swap buses from time to time, from what I've been told and from what I've seen. And most of them are not responsible for the maintenance of their vehicle, nor are many of them even capable of it. So, to me, we have multiple culprits. The city needs to do upkeep. We have old infrastructure allowing these incidents to occur. The economic complex demands long work hours and as many shortcuts as possible. I'm sure you've seen it firsthand. They who hold the dollar hold the blame. So after a brief analysis that any comedy idiot can do, we come to a much more broad conclusion here. Seems we might have some work to do on ourselves and the way we do things. Cause it seems pretty damn silly to beat up on one guy when there is at least a dozen guilty parties that put him in this position. I would definitely say so. I can think of several other examples. News anchors and radio hosts come to mind. Not to say some are not insidious lying weasels whose reckless personal opinions slowly unveil the anal-dwelling goblin that they truly are. I'm just saying that they're susceptible to any report that comes across their desk in most times because that's their job. Report on the news. Push stories fast, put out retractions later. And they're often caught up in the sweeping tide around them. Seems a shame to hold them solely accountable without considering the network heads, the writers, the producers, and their own personal agendas. Poor fools just got caught up in the hot seat. Speaking of hot seat, can anyone else think of any positions of authority that are often held to a very high standard of responsibility? One that no matter who it is, everyone is going to give them grief. My first thought is the first man that you think of when you hear the United States of America. That's right, Tom Hanks. Just playing, but honestly, think of the directors and writers. No, I mean the commander-in-chief, not a specific one. I mean, we got Joe Biden and...
One of the reasons why I decided to talk about the need to deal with the operation.
And we just had Trump.
I alone
can fix it.
And before him, Obama.
I am still fired up and ready to go.
The list goes on and on. Bushes, Clintons, Kennedys, each one with their own quirks and downsides, and each one bearing full responsibility in a lot of people's minds. But when you think about it, is that really fair to do? Sure, we give them the suit and the tie, and they get to sit in the biggest boy chair. But how much control does that one person really have? And before we get too much further and try to claim that this is a politically charged rant, for everyone's fun information, just a personal nugget for you. The vote came around 2020. I voted for Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson because I strongly believe we need science in our office. We need somebody who can connect with people. And I mean, Bill Nye's a pretty good dude at that. He's pretty good at talking. Kids listen to him about science. And I just think it would be good to get people from the community into there and get the money and the politicians out of there. I'm not really for either side, guys. I'm pretty independent about it. You got some good ideas here, you got some good ideas there, and you got a whole lot of nonsense everywhere else. All in between it. It's like if you were to take every hole in a piece of bread and fill it with different seeds and then try to eat it. Yeah. But if we consider how many things were in place before each president arrived to their position, we kind of start seeing a bigger picture, don't we? Countless examples range on everything from imports and exports to foreign relations in general. These tensions, of course, rise and fall through the years. Sure, some presidents have managed to influence the relationships in a positive or negative way, but the memories and the scars of previous interactions often outweigh a singular event. That alone puts a lot of weight, responsibility, and stigma upon every incoming president. Then we have to remember that even though we claim to give them supreme power, they often don't have huge stakes in large, wealthy companies such as, fuel and big tech companies and oil and, things like Amazon or Tesla. Drilling and mining companies, pharma companies, military complex. When you stop and ponder it for just a moment, you realize there are a lot of people involved in making decisions that are not the president at all. Sure, he's in there, he gets a vote here and there, but did you just hear how many people we counted? Do you know how hard it is to get a room full of your friends at one time, let alone to get them to agree upon something? So doesn't it seem really, really dumb when you say everything is Joe Biden's fault or Trump's gonna save us all, when, like I said, we literally just listed a dozen people who can be held accountable as well? Both those statements are equally pointless, and they do exactly what those guilty parties want them to do. Make us fight, cause confusion, shift the blame. Wouldn't it be more effective to start holding the right people accountable? Keep criticizing our leaders though, seriously, keep that going. We need that. That's your right as an American. To question the establishment, to demand transparency. We need to use that power that we have to make the changes, to push the people into the spotlight, to hold them accountable, and not just stomp our feet in angry, blind rage. We can do it without violence as well. We just need to keep our eyes open and never forget. They who hold the dollar hold the blame. And remember, these are not the questions that I want answers to. These are your answers that I want you to question.